to talk about my mission in life, both professionally and personally. As much as I reinforce quality of life for my clients, I also reinforce it for myself. You cannot preach to others what you don't live. And I wholeheartedly believe that each and every moment from birth to death is equally valuable. I'm committed to that for my clients. I'm committed to that for myself. And I'm also committed to that for you. Society cherishes and celebrates the beginning years of life in so many ways. But what messages do we receive, believe, and even send about the end of life? I established my company, You Are Not Alone Elder Care, to improve the quality of life for seniors and their loved ones. I empower my clients to find meaning in their lives, what their contributions to life were and still are. Doing this work, I have found that as people grow older, they tend to slowly move further and further away from the core of who they are and what they love to do. And what I know for sure is that we all have a core. Our core is greater than our roles in life, bigger than the jobs we hold, bigger than our titles. My path to this amazing work began as a volunteer at two local hospices, all while working a full-time job, a well-paying full-time job with excellent benefits. Society would say, that's a good place to be, but it simply didn't bring out the best in me. And I began to really dislike myself for getting up each day and going to it. Every day I would ask myself, Adrian, are you willing to risk it all to gain yourself? And one day I answered yes and walked away from it, putting to the test two scriptures in the Bible. The one that talks about having the faith the size of a mustard seed, and the one about cattle on 1,000 hills. Now, ladies, if there are cattle on 1,000 hills, I am entitled to access them, to live my best life, all with the faith the size of a mustard seed. Now, I don't recommend people leaving their jobs without a plan, unless you know for sure that that is your plan. I knew it was my plan. I knew that there was a calling on my life to serve those towards the end of life. I went from being jobless to being a servant in such a sacred place in people's lives. I did the work. I took one step at a time. I continually, even to this day, train in the various end of life stages so that I can provide the understanding that death is a natural process, not a medical one, but a human one. I bring comfort, education, and support to the families that I work with. I help families at a time when most people don't know what to say or do and stop showing up for those with advanced stage illnesses. I empower them all with the skills to show up as their authentic self. And the only way I'm able to be effective in the work that I do is to show up as my authentic self. I, Adrian Alate, am an end-of-life doula, which is simply a non-medical professional that provides holistic support for the dying and their loved ones before, during, and after death. I look beyond the physical person, and I believe that the emotional, mental, and spiritual wellness of us all impacts our physical wellness much more than people realize. And as much as we love our attorneys and the work that they do, my own advanced care planning was actually done originally by an attorney. But I do it differently than, say, an attorney. I educate, educate, educate. I educate them about the artificial life support measures and the pros and cons of each, and what's actually involved in each of these life support measures. I also facilitate family meetings so that everyone is aware of the wishes and are on the same page. I ensure that the person chosen to be the healthcare proxy can actually honor the wishes. Sometimes, ladies, it's not the next of kin. They simply can't do it. And it isn't always the spouse. This drastically cuts down on misunderstandings or disagreements later in life. People should really contact me sooner rather than later in life to do this empowering work. I also meet with my clients annually to see if things have changed. What someone wants at 30, 50, 80 can change. What someone wants at 79 and a half with a grandbaby on the way can change too. I have seen people hold on to dear life just to see and hold their grandbaby one time. I also create living well plans with my clients. I think it's just as important to document your emotional, mental, and spiritual wishes for the last hours, days, and weeks of life. I guide people through the process of deciding what they want to see happen, who needs to be there, and how they want that sacred environment to look, smell, feel, etc. We plan for what should happen after the passing, such as who needs to be notified. I even do dress rehearsal because it cuts down on the fear and stress of it all, and it can sometimes even bring humor when the moment comes. So, what does it end of life care look like physically, emotionally, spiritually? Allowing people the space to be their true selves with absolutely no judgment, expectation, nor attachment to the outcome. Educating on the rites and rituals that most people aren't even aware of. Once a person takes their last breath, they don't have to be whisked away. You can spend time with the body as it naturally shuts down. A family may have their own rituals and they'll share them with me, but if they don't, I am there to share some that honors the life of the one who is passing. People want to know, what is it like to die? Well, there's no one way to die. I will share that things happen around death that neither science nor medicine can explain. And there's no such thing as a good or bad death. I do believe that we should recognize that a person is still alive and living until they take their last breath and continue to honor who they are and their wishes. People also want to know, how do you prepare to die? And my answer to that question is, you live a full life. Living a full life to me means being authentic and living in the moment. If you pay attention to the moment, it will speak to you. It will tell you your needs, your desires, and what should happen in that moment, even if it doesn't make sense to you or to others. My winning formula is I take really good care of myself, I open my heart space, I tap into my intuition and my higher power, and I serve. That is how I help my clients and their loved ones to show up. So, what are some of the services that I offer? Vigil sitting, which is sitting bedside during the active dying phase to ensure a peaceful transition. Respite care, telling the family members, the loved ones, go rest. I will sit and hold this space. If anything changes, I will wake you up and notify you right away. A life review. Under no circumstance do I want any of my clients, or anyone for that matter, to be seen as a disease. So we spend time examining and documenting life's decisions, roles, contributions, and impacts that they have had on the family, the community, and the world. Remembrances, creating artifacts that documents the time on this earth that can be gifted to loved ones and offspring for generations to come. Memorial service planning, education on funeral and life celebrant service options, and assisting in the planning and sharing of resources as culturally appropriate. So again, I am Adrian Alate, and I'm an end-of-life doula. I help my clients to live a richer and fuller life. I release stress by providing services and processes to ensure that their loved ones are cared for. You or a family member can reach out to me for help and support. Check out my website. Follow me on my social medias. My handles are YANAEC LLC, which is simply the acronym for You Are Not Alone Elder Care. YANAEC LLC. I'm on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Instagram.